Where am I? Go ahead. We'd like to call this meeting in order of the Natrona County Parks Board meeting, June 13th, 5:30. I'd like to call the meeting in order. Roll call.
Cordell Wistison.
Michael Brown.
Jim Miller.
And Doug Irvin.
Okay, can we have a pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have approval of the minutes on May 9th, 2024?
So approved.
I second.
It's been a second, so the minutes are approved. Can we get the Parks Director's report from the mountain?
Yeah, so the Castle Mountain Trail Center Lodge building, the footers have been installed. Foundation walls have been rebarred up. They are scheduled to be poured with concrete on next Wednesday. The culvert was being installed as of yesterday. So a lot of work's going on. It's progressing pretty well. So I think they'll probably have the floor poured sometime in early July. I have weekly updates, so I'll have that at the next meeting. As for camping, obviously we have no camping up there. My staff and I have staked out expansion to some of the bear trap sites and marked some of the trees for removal that will assist in that. We should be getting started on that work probably the last week of June. We've got to get ready for the Crimson Dawn event, so that's on schedule to be going. What we're marking out is sites 20 wide by 50 if we can, to accommodate most of these bigger trailers and make room for parking a vehicle or two. However, some of them won't be quite that large, just because to do that, we'd have to cut out 10, 20 feet of trees. And so kind of site per site. And there's a couple of pull-through sites that we're gonna kind of facilitate, and when the parks rules are revised and adopted, then those can be a multi-camper site on the west side. There's one or two of them that are big enough to allow for a couple of campers. The focus on these campsites as we're building them is to make them easily accessible by access from the north. So if we can get all of these throughout the loop oriented in the right manner, we'll create that as a one-way drive through there. Now, obviously, the south entrance will still have two-way from the outhouse to the mountain road because of the cabins. But that one will definitely be one way all the way through there. So try and create a loop so it makes it easier.
Question.
Yes.
So what are you gonna do on the east side? Is that gonna be one way, or is that gonna be double side, double road then?
We haven't looked at that yet, so I'm not quite sure. But the main long section on the west side, I'm hoping to have a one-way north to south. But the east side, if we can make it a one-way also, that would be beneficial. And if I had my choice, I'd probably do it as a north to south also. And that way the bulk of the traffic comes out on the south end of the meadow, the bulk of the traffic comes in off the parking lot. So the bear trap shelter bid, really I have no direction at this time, so I have no update. Hell's Half Acre, my staff went out there and mowed around the picnic areas and some of the areas, and then we painted the picnic shelters. We have received 2 grants, a rec board grant for $90,000 for construction of the boardwalk. which will go out on the point to Vantage, you know, to improve the Vantage for people. And then we have another grant, through Outdoor Rec of $100,000 to make the trail access, improve the picnic shelters, install an outhouse, gravel the parking lot, things of that sort.
So give me 100?
Yes. And so both of those grants, I basically need an approval from this board to accept those grants. Those grants fiscally will be managed through Visit Casper, but coordination of the overall project will be through Parks. So basically, Parks will kind of navigate what needs to be ordered, and that'll be invoiced to Visit Casper, and then they'll pay that out.
Will Shelby be at the contact there now?
I don't know who will be the contact. I've been talking with Tyler about this right now, because Amanda left and went to
Amanda
the
left.
boys.
The replacement is Shelby. and
Yes.
She has not started yet.
So that'd be up to Tyler, who's gonna oversee that. So I guess at this point, Vice Chair, if we could get some kind of motion and whatnot to, accept those two grants so that we can have those recorded and,
For all those who are in favor of the two grants that Michael just talked about, could we give it a thumbs up or a yay?
Yay.
Yay.
okay.
Yay.
Yay!
So,
All right.
so the grants have been accepted?
Yep, so I will notify Visit Casper of that and, we'll move forth.
One comment on that grant, Michael, we talked about it, having a outhouse up there.
Yes,
I think it would behoove us if we have a double stall instead of a single, just because what I've seen in the Maze area, that the two stalls in there have worked out very well. And I don't think it's much more money for a two-staller versus a one-staller.
I believe it's almost, it's either 15 to 20 grand more for a double stall. I estimated with a single stall that would accommodate the traffic that we're probably experiencing over in the seasonal area where the picnic shelters would be and the day hikers down into the bottom would be versus, because it'll be set back in there, so in the winter season, they'll be shut off. But I can look into a double if we have the budget for that. So
I think it would be wise if we did look into it and see if that's possible.
But yeah, as for, the budget that I provided for the grant, that was based off a single stall outhouse, so.
Michael, was there any, matching by the county for either of these grants? I know some of it was in kind because we got the, Pathways Center to work on the boardwalks, if I recall.
So the outdoor rec grant, I think we used the matching, we used the rec board grant as the matching. But there will be quite a bit of in-kind here, and I haven't tied it all down, but, I've had some early discussions with Road and Bridge about possibly providing some of the gravel and some of the grading work. So that's a pretty good percentage of the overall cost, so.
Great.
So that, yeah, basically right now, the county matching would all be in kind, either material, from county pits or equipment or manpower.
Great. Thank you, Michael.
I received a couple of calls about Rotary Park and dogs off leashes. I just want to put a friendly reminder out there to the public. Your dogs need to be on a leash in county parks. It doesn't matter which county park it is, your dog needs to be on a leash. I was in the maze hiking some single track yesterday, and there was a person there, two dogs, not on leash, no leashes. One of the dogs wanted to keep following me, but there are people that have a fear of dogs because they've had bad experiences. And even if your dog's friendly, it doesn't matter. The dog needs to be on a leash. And I don't know how to get this across. We have signage here and there. We're gonna put up more signs at the bridle trail, but put your dog on a leash. So, otherwise we'll have to, be calling and getting citations written for those things, and that's what we don't wanna do. Everybody has a right to use our parks. They have a right to take their dog there, but we need to have the dogs on leashes.
Michael, maybe this is,
Along those lines, Michael, I'd also like to remind the public that there's no mountain biking or biking allowed at Rotary Park or the bridle trail. Well, we've been seeing some of that activity this summer.
Yes, thanks Doug for that. I know you mentioned that to me last week, and you're right. Bikes are not allowed on the bridle trail or in Rotary Park. So that's another issue. If the public has concerns about these things and sees things going on, feel free to contact me, and we'll try and get somebody out there to at least convey the message about our parks rules. So that's all I really have for the mountain. Not a lot. Actually, there, I was up there yesterday on, the Summer Trail Master Plan. Austin and I hiked through, was it yesterday or Tuesday? Tuesday. On Tuesday, he showed me their plan. They want to do some additional trail work within the maze and the Miners Loop, the single track there. Quite a bit of it's already, there's some of it been developed by Social Trails. This will maximize a lot of the beginner level single track in that area without causing interference with the Nordic trails, and very minimal impact on the forestry. And so I gave them to go ahead to get started on that, and we can have Austin talk about that now or wait till the end if you'd like, Vice Chair, but they will be doing a trail build Monday night up there to get this work started. Would you like him to talk about that now or wait till the end?
we can talk about that now.
Okay.
Austin, would you like to say anything? Austin's with TW, TA.
All right. Vice Chair Board, thanks for letting me speak. Austin Burgess with Central Wyoming Trails Alliance, or CWTA. I'd like to give you a quick update on what kind of the goings on. If you'd like, I'd just go ahead and go through the whole update on what we're doing in the county right now. It'll be a quick update. We got obviously the trails. So can I do the whole update right now, or do we do that later? Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
All right, so to kind of tie into what Michael Brown has said, we have started on those particular trails, prepping for Monday for that particular trail build. We're trying to, at this point, keep the public away from any of the tree work or any of the vegetation removal that we're doing, just to keep the public safe when we're doing any of these trail builds, to minimize that to hand tools only and stuff like that, where we have our Sawyer, myself, going up and actually doing the tree work. Like I say, very minimal vegetation removal. And talking with Michael Brown about that, we're actually pulling out some of the poles that are in there of that downed lodge pole, or the standing dead. We're actually pulling out for county parks to be able to use for projects, and we're staging those along the ski trail so the county can come pick those up and use them appropriately as they see fit. Super excited for this project to kick off. We have a lot of public excitement, a lot of public engagement on this right now. So we're seeing, I think we're going to see some really good volunteerism out of that particular project. And going to be looking at how we're going to proceed through the year on the Kalen Master Plan and other trail expansion projects. And as they become flagged, basically what I'm doing is I'm going up and shooting grade on those. So we're staying within the parameters of the Kalen Master Plan and what considers to be of the guidelines for the quality trail experience qualifications for trail building, which is a BLM standard that we follow to make sure we're appropriate grade and we're not affecting wildlife and all these sort of things. You know, a big one is the erosion and water issues of the trails. We have gone through the full trail system so far this year, and we had a lot of winter damage to the trees this year, a little bit different type of damage to the trees this year, where we're actually having a lot of split top trees that are broken quite high in the tree that are creating what are called widowmakers. We're going in and taking care of those. We've opened up the whole trail and taken care of most of them. There is one that's pretty hung right now. So we determined that that's safe for the time being for the users. So without having to come to you guys to see about closing off that trail, we will be going up and doing a temporary closure and taking care of that particular tree. It'll probably be about a 30-minute closure on the trail. I'll be communicating with Michael on that one when we go up to take care of those hazardous trees. There, and we can't get equipment to them, so we got to get a sawyer in there to actually fall those trees. We've removed probably 7 trees this year that have fallen across the trail. We're seeing some uproots this year, but nothing like we have in the past. So, and that's kind of normal this time of year that the soils are soft and we're seeing those uproots. So we haven't had high wind events, so we're really lucky on that right now. But we're assessing those and keeping in communication with the county on that as far as any kind of trees that need to be removed. Moving over to the bridle trail, we are kind of picked up where Wyoming Conservation Corps has left off. And that's in coordination with Michael Brown as well, as far as some of the marked trees and some of those hazard tree corridors. We've basically started at the top at Split Rock, and we're going to start moving down. We did have in-kind work from a local arborist to come up, and he was the second saw. We're just leaving it to a very small saw team going up there to take care of these hazard trees. And so we do have a professional arborist coming up with us to take care of those, to assess the needs of the forest right there. And rather than just falling and tossing the timber around down slope, we're actually stacking and going to be removing that. And we do have a trail event on Thursday, or a volunteer event on Thursday, and we're going to have quite a few people coming up to help haul that material out of there and actually start cleaning up that portion of the forest rather than just fuel loading that forest bed. Other than that, as far as actual work going on, that's really what we have going on right now. Michael Brown has also asked us to go out and look at the dinosaur trail out at Cottonwood Beach, and I have yet to get out there to look at it, but it's definitely something we're going to go out and look at to get a good assessment, a good site assessment, to see what we can do for the fixing that trail up and doing some other cool work in the county. Any questions?
Yeah, I've got one, Austin. If there's any deviation from the master plan, could you get with Michael before it just happens, and then you ask for a nice way of saying we did it, but we didn't ask?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes those trails get built, maybe not through you guys, but through other folks, without asking Michael. And if you could, if there is some deviation that it looks like you're gonna have to make, could you please contact Michael before that is done? Or
Absolutely, and in fact, I throughout the winter have been working with him on the trail addition plans, and I shared with you guys as far as the two trails that were in addition but aligned with the Kalen master plan. But yeah, if there are any deviations, absolutely we'll be discussing those, because there are going to be some that even in the Kalen master plan, after looking at the what was planned, we're going to have to figure out a really good solution to one of those trails that needs to get done, but there's got to be a solution to that, and I'll be working directly with them on that. Absolutely.
okay, I've hiked some of those trails that you've marked within the last week that you have shown Michael on, and that's basically behind Martin's Hut in that area. What do you plan to do with all that downed trees, timber that's been in there?
So we're actually doing a kind of a unique trail in there. So we're going to be doing a log line trail to go ahead and use some of that lumber up to define the trail corridor. So we're not actually having to dig as much as you typically do in doing trail building. And then a lot of the lumber that Michael and I talked about, as far as the 4-inch and larger, we're going to be pulling that stuff out to be able to. For the county to be able to use for some of the projects. I'm not exactly sure what it is, and we're going to be stacking that appropriately. And then a lot of it we're going to, that's already dead and decaying, we're going to leave in there. If there is a need for us to pull more out, we absolutely can do that. The reason why we're choosing not to is so we don't have a new social trail leading through there. Because I feel that if we clean up a lodgepole forest, because lodgepole forests are really unique and they're really clean forest beds. And if you completely remove all that, people start going everywhere. Well, that forest floor is also very fragile, so we want to minimize that. And if we keep that lattice work of trees in there, it helps protect that forest floor, protects the squirrels that are in there, protect the vegetation and the sensitive terrain that's actually in there, more than just dragging that stuff out, unless there's a different direction you'd like us to go.
Well, I know the county, it would be on the right side of, be on the southeast side of Martin's Hut. The county had got the prisoners come in and cleared all that stuff and took everything to the slash pile. And that's why that stuff is so cleared in there. And where you're going is really thick, a lot of down stuff. I think we need to be careful of just stacking that stuff up on the sides so it doesn't look like a mess.
Absolutely. So any vegetation that we're actually taking out that is that has been determined needs to be taken out, whether it's a disease tree or hazard tree, those actually we will be removing and taking them to the slash pile. But any usable pole hopefully will be used by the county that will be pulling out. But we won't be any of the material too that can be used for firewood. We'll cut up into the firewood pieces and stack it over by where the firewood's stored, so the cross-country kids can, take care of that, and they can have more wood, so they don't have to go search for it themselves. So that was the plan on the management of that particular stuff in there. If you would like more work in there, that's definitely something we can do. It kind of makes a longer day for us, but that's not a problem.
I think the wood that's going to be basically the ski team doesn't use that wood. The community uses it more than the ski team, just because they go up there nights and whatnot, and by then the high schools and the junior high or middle school are out. But the ski club, along with the high school and the junior high team, they'll go up there in the fall time and cut that stuff up and split it and whatnot and put it into Martin's Hut. So if you could get some of that stuff closer to Martin's Hut, that would help everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something absolutely we can do. I guess what I would ask is I would like direction on how much you would like out of there. Because we can do a full forestry style project, because I've got volunteer days and I'm trying to figure out what to have people do. Because there's a lot of work to be done. And we have plenty of people that want to do that, and it just makes me do another volunteer day. So do we want it to look pristine and clean like it does on the east side, and pull all that out and get it stacked appropriately for use for firewood?
I think at this time, let's get your trail started, get that work done. You're gonna take the limbs to the slash pile, anything that's 4-inch or bigger for poles, the county parks will take those over. Anything that can be used for firewood will go to Martin's Hut. And then kind of, once we've done that aspect of it, let's take a look at it, walk the new trail and see if we need to do some additional cleaning of the forest in that, view shed of the trails and whatnot, kind of.
Okay. Yeah, because then that's another thing that Michael and I discussed too, is before we officially open a trail, during construction, the trail is effectively closed at night. We're not leaving anything dangerous in the trail, so we're not going to tell people that it's closed per se, just because they're going to go in and do what they want. But during the trail construction, the trail is closed. Once the official opening's done, it has to be accepted by the county for acceptance, for the quality assurance acceptance on that trail before it's actually officially opened anyway. So if there's any warranty work that needs to be done prior to opening or any changes that need to be done, we want to address those before we announce it to the public that, hey, look at this new trail. And then we have to tear it up again and do something different. But we're working closely with them on that, and that's why we're doing those pre-site walks and stuff like that to make sure that our visions align and the quality product is going to be there of what we're going to be able to do, which is actually going to be quite a bit higher quality product than what we have up there right now. So super excited to be able to get this done.
I would recommend having some sort of signs out there on those, once you start cutting through there, just because the Lions Club camps, they go through there and use all that facility in there, and that's all kids.
Okay.
So I think it'd be just like a COA to have a sign up there saying, this is not a path or.
Sounds good.
Some sort of closure sign
Yeah.
that someone knows.
Yeah, I'll absolutely do that. So I'll email you guys on the what we'll be putting up there and make sure that it's appropriate, that this is a closed trail under construction type deal. And I guess speaking on that, we did do caution tape. We did close the old trailhead to the minor loop where that led to the construction area. There were some concerns from the contractor that during the events that people were going to possibly go over there and looky-loo and stuff like that. We put caution flagging up in that corridor where we put in the new minor trailhead to alleviate our people or our users from going over into that, and we're going to educate as well on that. Anytime we get close to that, we'll have that caution flagging up to create a actual perimeter, because if there's no perimeter there, it's hard to enforce. If there's a perimeter there, it's easy, and we're using a professional grade caution tape that doesn't just get destroyed in the wind.
So where is the Miners Loop trailhead going to start temporarily?
So temporarily, it actually just I don't know the name of the ski trail right there, but it is, so if you have Stadium, it's the first trail that cuts over towards Miner. It basically just starts right there. It basically moved down 60 feet from where Miner actually normally started.
So where Stadium and Bishop's kind of intersect right there,
Okay.
it's just gonna make a 90 off Miners
Okay.
and right there instead of going into the parking lot.
Yeah, there's a light pole right there too,
There's
like
a
right where
corridor.
Like Cole and Aspens.
Yep, right, yeah, just right there. Yeah, and we're not gonna put the trail into the Aspens. We're going to make sure that trailhead stays basically where it's at, because I would rather not be in the Aspens, because those are always wet areas, and I'd rather stay out of those Aspen areas.
And so County Parks, before he does any construction, we'll be doing a walkthrough. He's gonna flag it. So this first section, which wasn't in the master plan, but aligns with it, we walked all that. And so the next set, wherever they move to do some additional trail under that plan, whether it's exactly like the plan or there's deviations, we're gonna walk through it before I give them the okay to move any dirt. So, we're taking it in a step-by-step process like that.
Yeah, I would just be careful, Austin, and I'm sure you're gonna work with Michael on it, but that area right there by Martin's Hut, all those lodge poles, they've been used for the last 30 years for buck rail fences, stuff like that. Joe, that's his area that he gets those trees out of. So I'm sure someone's gonna be talking with Joe to make sure we're not taking what he needs.
Actually, I don't think we're taking any actually quality trees out of there.
No, there's actually not. So any of the trail lining trees we're using are actually the trees that you would reject for poles, because the trail turns and undulates and stuff. So we actually want to use those ones that are already laying in there, and that's what we're lining the corridor with. Anything that is good, I've already talked to him as far as pulling them out, so they're easy to access, so Joe can come grab those. Absolutely, because we want to make sure we're making everybody happy on this.
But also, if you have a chance, if you have a smaller load going to the slash pile, that area that, the parks gave some of the community members, access to the firewood, there's a bunch of that broken, rotten limbs right on that trail by the kiosk.
Mm-hmm.
If you could throw that on, that would probably help. I mean, only if it's,
Yeah,
going with an empty load.
Yeah, no, so the great thing is that we actually have a gentleman who has offered an in-kind use of a dump trailer up there. So when it actually dries out, we'll be able to get that in there and do large load of stuff. And we're going to be utilizing the Camber kids for that, doing some, good trail stewardship training with them. Fat fish, that will be one of the fat fish nights too. It won't just be trail building. We do trail maintenance and cleanup as well. So we can definitely do something like that on cleaning that area up. Absolutely.
Okay, I mean, there's also, the Jinsu up there next to the Martin's Hut. I flagged it out the other day. You might check and see if it's flagged enough so the bikers don't get in there and, don't see it at nighttime or whatever.
The Witchet, the
Track setter.
Oh, yeah. I did see that was flagged. We have some fiberglass poles that we could flag with that are taller because, the pin flags are going to get lost in the grass.
They were lost already. I put them up a couple times.
Yeah.
So.
I have some extra fiberglass poles that I'd be more than happy to put up around that just to barricade that off. So to make
That's
it.
the only thing. I just don't want, the bikers to run into that or something like that. And if it's, again, the Lions Club kids go in there and they use Martin's Hut. That's where they eat lunch and whatnot. So.
Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and take care of that too, and get that kind of barricaded, or more visually barricaded with tall fiberglass poles for the season. So that's not a problem at all. We'll take care of that for
And
you.
the roller that was out front is back underneath in the wood pile now.
Okay, cool.
So
Would it be better to contact the Lions Club? Because with kids, if you tell them not to do something, that's the first thing they want to do.
Well, if we put safety-looking stuff around it, that probably will be a deterrent.
Yeah, I
Because
think
thought they had
just put a
they don't.
trail closed sign, construction
Right. the one-
ongoing
Yep.
at the main intersections of your trail. I think that's, would be adequate.
Yep.
I mean, because people are gonna go where they're gonna go. But you're not leaving your tools
No.
laying out where somebody's stepping on a rake.
Yeah, we don't leave tools on site. So a lot of trail builders leave tools on site. We do not leave tools on site for two reasons. One, theft. Two, safety. We have a place that we are going to be putting our tools every single day and be doing site cleanups every single day. If there is anything like rock work that we're doing that would be hazardous, that would be flagged off for no use for that particular area. But I don't foresee that on this particular trail at all.
and they might not use that just because of all the construction going on with the lodge and whatnot. They might choose to go Eadsville way or something.
But absolutely, possibly, absolutely.
Does anybody have any other questions for Austin?
Thanks, Austin.
Well,
Thank
thank
for
you,
your time.
Austin,
All
for
right,
doing what you're doing up there for all the different trails. We appreciate the volunteer work and what you're doing, so, thank you.
Yep, thank you, guys.
All right, with that, I'm gonna move on to the lake. Still in search of some seasonal caretakers. My full-time staff has been covering, weekends just to make ends meet because it's difficult to find people. I've been through probably 40+ applications. I have 2 return hires that I hired early on in April and 1 new hire that's recently started like a week and a half
Do
ago.
they just not want the jobs, or are they not capable of?
Well, sometimes they can't meet the qualifications, the checks and balances that are required for pre-employment with the county. Otherwise, they don't want to hire, they're too impatient, all sorts of different aspects. They don't return calls, just backgrounds that don't allow them to work for the county, things of that sort. Having to work a weekend, kids that are 18 to 25 and, they don't want to work Friday, Saturday, Sundays, all summer long. They want to be with their friends, whatever. So, it's just difficult, but, I'm working on developing maybe a different system for next year and the next budget, not this budget cycle starting in July, but the following in July. Looking at more of a somewhat permanent type positions that would allow me to retain people. The Alcoba lot rents that were due May 19th, I still have 8 outstanding invoices.
8, not 11.
Not 11, I just checked it this morning, so I have 8 out of 257, so we're doing okay, but I wish we didn't have to call and call and call to get paid. The Alcoba Marina is progressing, the building's enclosed, they're working on interior work, electrical inside work, so that's coming along pretty well. Last I heard, they might be able to have a soft opening the 4th of July, but they won't have their full certificate of occupancy probably until, possibly August. So, but they are making progress. So the water sewer design that, we've contracted with an engineer for the trailer park and auxiliary areas, that's progressing. I had a meeting 2 weeks ago, looked at preliminary design drawings, and so they're probably 30% drawings right now. So by the end of summer, we'll have full drawings, engineer's estimate, see what that's gonna cost, and then we can take steps from there. On that. That system is, there's sections that are probably 70 years old. So it's, strongly in need of replacement. I am working on a response to the Alcoba Trailer Park. They have questions, and these questions have been raised over the last year and raised again. Questions on the lottery, what the rent cost is, lack of improvements, so I am working on responses to those. And another thing in the trailer park, my staff has gone around. People are leaving limbs on the curbs, expecting county parks to pick that up. That is not our responsibility. And my staff has been directed not to pick those up anymore, and I will contact the trailer owners to tell them that's their responsibility to haul to town. So,
Excuse me, Mike.
yeah.
So you don't have a slash pile out there, you said?
No. So there used to be a slash pile, but it was in the third cell of the lagoon, of our sewer lagoon, which is always dry, but DQ EPA requirements don't allow us to fill that up with material. And so the slash pile's gone away, and that went away before, I'm thinking it was almost 5 years ago or more, but it hasn't been there in the last 3 because it's not allowed. So
Do you
yeah.
do you need to send a notice to all those trailer owners saying it's their responsibility?
Yeah, I'll probably send something out to the ones I have contact for, yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, we have trash problems at Alcoba. Actually, we have them all over the reservoirs. You know, the cabin area, it clearly states bag trash, and you get huge cardboard boxes, mattresses, TVs, things from town, and we get them over in the trash in the trailer park as well, and we get them in our campground trashes because the private property Lakeview Estates, they deposit, I mean, we pulled address labels off and gone up there and told them, and, you know, it doesn't seem to affect anybody, but they think, oh, there's a dumpster, and we've seen people haul their trash from town to put in our dumpsters. And you can't imagine the bills of what trash collection is for the lakes in the mountain. The most recent bill I got was $14,000, and that was for 30 days.
Who takes care of that?
Waste Connections,
Waste Connections.
they're really the only ones that have the capability to handle the amount of trash and the number of locations we have. But that's something I'll be looking into as a cost saving measure is how can we handle the trash better?
How much did you say?
I believe this last bill was $14,000.
And that's for how long?
I believe that was for 30 days. It might have been for 45.
Garbage is good business, I guess.
Well, when you count the time to travel out there in a heavy truck, an expensive truck, the fuel to use it, the cost for dumping at the city landfill, your employees' wages, your insurance, yeah, it's not cheap to go pick up trash dumpsters.
So I have a question, when you said the trailer owners or the trailer
Park,
park,
yeah.
they had questions. I mean, the lottery's been around.
It's been around a long
Forever.
time,
I mean,
yes.
I don't-
And I'm working through, some responses to those, and we
Is
had
there a specific part of it that they're questioning? No, I'm
Why-
sorry.
why does it still have to be in place? Which I have answers from the Bureau Rec on that. Why do the cabins not need that? The cabins are a physical structure attached to the federal ground. The trailers are mobile on top of the federal ground, so there's a difference there. And just several other notions of that, you know.
I thought maybe something precipitated it. I apologize.
This has been going on, I've had conversations on this for well over a year. And this is, and I've been involved with, the county commissioners on some of these conversations, as well as Bureau Rec.
That's been going on for years, Michael.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as long as I've been here, I've heard about it for that many years.
You know, and before I came, some of the staff that worked at the lake were more involved with, the trailer park, probably above and beyond what, county park should be doing. You know, these lots are as is for one. Now we manage the water and sewer system. We turn it on every year. But as for trimming trees, spraying weeds, things of that sort, that's the responsibility of the lot. And so, there's just questions have arrived. And when I have my response done, I'd be more than happy to send it to the Parks Board so you guys can kind of get an update on all of the questions and everything.
And it
going
will
on.
go out to all of those renters? Or
Yeah.
just those?
Well, they have a trailer park association, and so it'll go to
Gotcha.
the board of them, and then they can,
So
distribute.
they're all asking that.
Yeah, basically, yes.
So those 8 people who have not paid, isn't there something the code enforcement people can do, or the sheriff
Well,
department saying that?
The lot
Like
permits,
past 30
so the
days.
lot permits have a breach of permit and a penalty. I mean, worst case scenario, we could terminate their permit and then they no longer have that site. Trying not to go there. I've reached out to legal a little bit. Haven't got a lot of traction yet. I think they're busy. So at this point, I'm, you know, still pursuing those 8. That would probably be, and it's probably in the $20,000 to $25,000 range.
To your,
But
to your point though, is it the same people year in, year out, or is it something else?
I would have to look at records to see if it's the same people or not. So,
It's too bad that code enforcement or someone can't say, you have 30 days to pay, or,
vacate?
well, we invoice them in early April and they're due May 19th. It's in their lot permit. They see that every year. You know, but in the past, before I got here, they're like, well, they let me pay in September and October. I'm like, no, it's May 19th. You know, every year, and it's so much increase every year, so plan accordingly. And some years it's better than others, some years it's pulling teeth. But I've been in touch with legal, probably getting them to send some legal documents out saying you're in violation. I mean, the next step is I'm gonna put notices on their doors. So, and start filing for a breach of permit. You know, I hate to do a financial penalty for somebody that's not paying their rent because maybe they can't afford it, but, you know, oh, you get the standard, well, I never got it in the mail, well, you know, I had a death in the family, I have medical issues. It's like, these are vacation areas. These are second homes. These are not your primary residence, so. My sympathy's been lost over the last 2.5 years dealing with this, so. So anyways, that's just a spiel there. As for that, I don't have anything else at the lake. We're trying to do some improvements, basic mowing, maintenance. Got the new outhouse doors that were installed, painted, things of that sort. And then as for the proposed parks rules revisions and camping fee increases, it's been in legal, to be presented to the county commissioners after their review. Since March, I haven't heard anything. I've asked, really, so I don't know where that stands. If you guys feel it's time to reach out to county commissioners, then the parks board does what it needs to do. But I'm continuing pursuing those revisions that you guys approved.
Hey Doug, I wonder if you ought to, get a hold of Dave North and have him start pursuing that, or give him some sort of an answer to us and Michael of what needs to take place.
Yeah, I'll start an email chain and see if we can shake some information loose.
Thank you.
The only other thing I have is I'm going on vacation June 25th through July 10th. Our next meeting is July 11th. So I will not have an agenda prepared and posted ahead of time. If Doug would like to create an agenda, that would be great, and IT can get it posted for us. Otherwise, I will bring an agenda and the minutes to the meeting on the 11th. Because I'll prepare them that
Okay,
morning.
well, if you forward me a Word document template, then I'll at least get a placeholder one put together, and we can revise it as needed for replacement.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I could do is, in the next week, I could probably, prepare a generic one that'll have the typical things that we usually talk about on there, maybe without details, and, be able to have the Parks Board or IT department have that ready to post, a week before.
I think we can all, help Doug with that and whatnot and come up with a gender, Michael, so we'll just work together on it and.
Okay.
And Michael, if you have any, if your office staff is gonna be around, if they have anything that from the public that wants to raise to our attention, feel free to have them forwarded to us, and we'll see if we want to add it to the agenda.
Okay. That'll sound good, and I can probably get the minutes prepared, next week, so you don't have to watch the YouTube video again. That's what I usually do. I
I was
believe,
gonna try and Jim that task.
I'm gone that day.
so that's all I have for you guys.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions from the board to Michael?
Not necessarily any questions, Michael, but the road work on Casper Mountain, in my opinion, has gone smoother than what we were led to believe that it would be. The widening of the road, the putting in the culverts, because we went through a scare that all summer long it was going to be pilot car and one-way traffic everywhere. I'm glad that it's not. The construction people are doing a phenomenal job. I just want you to let them know that I'm thinking it's great.
And a quick update on that, I did not attend the weekly meeting, but Joe did, and I believe they'll start paving sometime after July 8th.
It's kind of what I heard. That,
Yeah,
by
I
the
think
middle of
they'll
July,
be,
they should
they'll be
start.
doing a test pave in the bear trap area, to start, but, once they do the paving, that'll take, I'll be back to pilot cars for a while there. but,
Right.
Really, the pilot cars that I've had to wait for, or the flaggers I've had to wait for, at most, I've waited 30 minutes once. Yesterday, there was a water tanker got stuck at the hairpin.
Oh, gee.
Um,
Double, yeah.
So that took a little bit, but they were getting traffic through there pretty smooth while they were figuring out what's going on. But I've come up the backside of the mountain and, dealt with pilot cars there. I've dealt with them coming out of Bear Trap and East End Road, and it all runs pretty smooth. Now, I don't believe the road is gonna be as wide as it currently is. I believe once they do the paving, they'll start sloping back those ditches. And so I think the paved width is gonna be basically the paved width that it was before. You know, there might be a few sections where it's a little bit wider in some of the curves, but I think for the most part, it's gonna be about the same width as the pavement was before. But new pavement, new substructure, it'll be really nice.
It is. One question I have on coming out of Bear Trap, heading back to the north, they dug that great big ditch and they've lined it with rock and et cetera, to let the drainage come down there. Is that how that's going to be ended up, or is any of those big cement culverts going in there?
So a Bear Trap, I'm not sure. I haven't seen the road design. You're talking at Bear Trap, right?
As soon as you're coming out of Bear Trap,
Yeah.
going to Struby Loop. There on the east side, they dug a great big huge ditch.
Yeah,
And now they have lined that ditch with rock. They did that yesterday. And so that the bottom of it is lined with rock for water erosion.
yeah, I haven't seen the road design, so I'm not sure what the final product's gonna be there.
It's a huge ditch.
Yeah,
I would hate to find it. It would-
yeah.
Accidentally.
Oh, even on purpose. We've had a few people do some of their test racing cars up there that guy had a Mach 1. Came out of Bear Trap, and he was doing the windy going down to Struby Loop, missed one of the corners and went right into that ditch over there by the rail trail. Not the rail trail, the blind camp, going into the back door.
Now, I have one question for you. You mentioned some work to be done at the Braille Trail.
Yes.
And so I don't know what the schedule is for that, when you guys want to do that, but you could access that down the wrong way of Struby as long as you close.
Well, we have to do that the wrong way in order to get that trailer to back in
Right.
because of how our gate is. And Ansel and them, they were going to call road and make sure that they were aware that we are coming up the day that we're doing it
Yep.
and backing it.
Yeah, so call Mike Hager at Run Bridge and he'll get in touch with the contractors so they know. That's what we're doing with the concrete when it's going to the lodge. That way we can coordinate those types of things if they're having significant work done or something. But yeah, you can, and let me know if you're gonna access Struby that way. At this point, we're not planning on opening up Struby
Well, I would,
until the road work is kind of done, so.
yeah.
People
But,
can hike and bike down there, but, yeah, we're not having car traffic at this time.
Yeah, we've got 2 bridges that are being built by Pathway, and they will be man-hauled with shoulder straps down to them. The I-beams, and then the cross planks will be coming in, and they'll be small enough to do that. And then we've got a generator coming up that will run the welder, weld those in place and put them in those 2 lower areas.
Do you have a time frame on when you guys expect to?
They're hoping to do that. From the last communication I got is next Monday or the following.
Okay, so next week. Okay. I'll let my staff know so they're not surprised when there's vehicles down in there.
Yeah, and and they know to call Mike to let him know that we're coming up the mountain for
Okay.
that.
Great.
Any other comments? One comment, Michael, just for the community, the restroom at Skunk Holler is roped off and closed. Is that correct?
That is correct. It is full, as it is every spring. We get runoff that fills it, so it's currently not usable. We are scheduling somebody, hopefully next week, to pump that out so we can get that opened up. So,
Would this be the same time to empty those in the maze area?
you know, I will have to, check on that, because when I walked down there early this week, the stadium was still pretty soft in that area. And I'm trying to think how we get the pump truck in there, because I think in the past, they came through the parking lot, around the lodge, and down the stadium. But I'm not sure.
I think they went up through the lock gate
Parking
of the
lot?
parking lot, went up that way.
Okay,
And so it wasn't too bad the other day,
yeah,
if they went that way. The other way would be too wet.
right, okay. So, yeah, and I haven't looked at that vault to see what it looks like in there or not. but-
I haven't either. I've looked at inside both the toilets and they're clean. They have toilet paper. So everything is usable if it needs to be used.
Okay,
So,
well, we will work on getting that on the schedule. So. And Crimson Dawn event is going on. We've ordered additional outhouses like we always do. I think the roads might get graded, East End and whatnot, before that event, because that is a week from tomorrow.
Oh, that's right,
So,
fast.
Blink and it'll be here.
there's also a running race up there at some point. I believe they're starting at the biathlon area this year because of the
yeah,
construction.
I gave them approval. I cannot remember what day that's scheduled. I know Biathlon Club is currently having a camp through the 16th, and rumor is they're having their roller ski up the mountain road on Sunday. So, from that church on Casper Mountain Road down below to the mailboxes. So that's supposed to happen Sunday. That's the rumor anyways. I never
Well,
got
I
formal-
read the same thing. It's going forth with that.
Yep,
I guess it's up to them to inform the public that, or the kids who are skiing up there,
yeah,
is that that's the day that people are running up to take the slash pile or, slash to the slash pile, and it's when everyone goes up there and check
well,
things
hopefully
out.
they're not bringing Slash from town,
No, I don't think they are.
but,
But it's, from all the cabins and whatnot,
Yeah.
that's where I see a lot of the work taking place on Sundays right now. It's just,
well, the road construction's off on Sundays.
Right, exactly.
So that really is the best day to, not have to deal with pilot car or traffic stops is Sundays.
but also everyone's starting to go over Muddy Mountain because Lupin's all in bloom now, and so people are wanting to get up there and
Right.
hike and
Beautiful.
whatnot. So. Great. Any more comments for Michael? Any comments for us, Michael?
No, I don't think so.
Doug, you all set?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. At this point, I think, we're done with this meeting and